Hi, my name is Samantha. Welcome to Safe Haven Sanctuary. I am a trauma expert, self-worth, and intimacy mentor. I use a clinical, spiritual, and energetic lens to heal the body, mind, heart, and soul. This is a space for you to let your walls down, welcome in vulnerability, apply and integrate what resonates, and free yourself from the rest of it. The universe is here to support your deepest dreams, and the only way to meet those dreams fully is by meeting yourself in its full depths and embodying the calling of your soul. Thank you for being here, and let's rise up in our ability to expand and thrive. Hey guys, so thank you so much for being here. Oh, I have so much that I want to talk about today, and it might kind of be all over the place, so bear with me. I wrote something this morning. I woke up and was just thinking about some past relationships, some old relationships that are trying to creep back in, and also just doing a lot of reflection on how I showed up in these old relationships and how my past partner showed up as well too. So I'm gonna read you like an excerpt, whatever the word is, from my notes in my phone, because I just felt like I feel like I've grown so much from my past, and I can now say that I'm so much more in my divine feminine, whereas before, and let's even talk about that. Some people don't even know what that is, but like when you're in your divine feminine, you're calm. It doesn't mean that like you don't experience anger or anything like that. It's just like you're calm, you're in trust and in surrender. And even in those moments of surrender, like those are the times where you can like feel those big emotions and just feel everything that's coming up in your body, and like not experiencing shame around it, understanding that you're a woman, you have really deep feeling emotions and you get to feel them, and it doesn't mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean that it doesn't make you less worthy. In fact, you can honor that, knowing that you're so brave to actually feel these things, right? When you're in your divine feminine too, you're able to lead the masculine in a way that inspires them, in a way that activates them, and in a way where they feel seen and loved, and that in a way that where they can become vulnerable and become undone, because there's a lot of men out here who are feeling like it's unsafe to feel their emotions, feeling like they don't have people to lean on emotionally. And this new world that I envision and that I am creating in my own world is being that for men and women. And so I'm going to read something. I'm probably going to make this into a post as well, but you guys are going to be the first to hear it. Maybe not. Maybe I'm going to post it before that, but technically you're going to be the first to hear it. It's the first time I'm reading it. So here it is. So what it's like to be with a woman in her divine feminine who has a divine inner strength and a divine gentleness to her. You better believe that she will see things in you that you may not see, your highest self and your blinders. She will lovingly call you forward to rise to a better man for you most importantly, but also for the highest and greatest good for both you and her relationship to alchemize, so that your future generations can carry the potent magic you both hold in your wisdom, in your DNA, and in your soul blueprints. Both of you rising together raises the frequency of this earth, because we all know true love is the strongest frequency there is. So when she calls you forward, it's not about nagging. It's not about control. It's because she sees and feels beyond what you're presenting her with. And so a man who is truly in love, and a man who is in his true divine masculine, won't even see this as nagging. He will be open to listening and hear her feelings and her observations, because he values it. And then he will reflect on his own and bring into his own understanding and in his own way. And he will turn to her for guidance if he feels he needs help with the clarity on how to move forward emotionally. This doesn't mean that he's not capable of doing this himself. He just knows the power behind this fucking amazing woman. And this is a gift. This is the gift about being with a woman in her divine feminine. You know, she holds this gentleness which allows her man to feel safe in his vulnerabilities and in his own insecurities as well. And you know, she still sees him as this beautiful man in his leadership despite this. This in itself heals the toxic inner masculine that he's been carrying around, those wounds that have been so deeply rooted in him. He's finally being seen for who he is. Wounds, flaws, everything, all of it, and is still seen as masculine. And so she also holds this leadership when it comes to intuition, and if she sees or feels something, she will tell her man, knowing that she'll be supported and trusted because she's so divinely connected. A man in his divine masculine will put ego aside and let her lead in this way. In fact, he feels safe in this moment where she's leading. And she feels safe because even when she leads, she knows her man is protecting her. Like angel wings are wrapped around her, and she follows her intuition knowing she's guided and protected. And so being with a woman in her divine feminine will change your life completely. You will see inner wounds being reflected back to you. But this time, instead of toxic arguments and exchanges of hurtful words, you'll be held and seen for your heart and soul. You'll have emotionally safe conversations where your voice is being heard too, where your needs are welcomed to be expressed, because she wants you to know that you're valued, that you're appreciated, and she wants to know how you're feeling too. There's no hiding with her, because even if you did, she can see right through it, and she'll just call you back into your authenticity. She's not just going to sit there and watch you put on an act when she knows that there's deeper things to come to surface. And so to be with a woman in her divine feminine is a goddess sent. And now, so that was the end of it. Fucking beautiful, right? Like, I don't know where that came from, but obviously from God, from source. But this is the thing about relationships that I see these days is people are just really scared to be vulnerable and to become undone because they feel like they're too messy, or they feel like they have to be a certain way to keep love. That's not true love then. Right? Like, now I'm not promoting that you project your anger or your emotions. Like, there's such a big difference. And like, okay, maybe that happens sometimes and you work through it together. You take accountability for your projections. Okay, that's okay. You're human. It's okay. We don't expect perfection here. Okay, but we do expect evolving and taking accountability, but also having compassion. And so when you are, whether you, regardless of your gender, okay, every relationship has divine masculine and divine feminine, regardless of your gender. But there needs to be both of those energies there in balance. And balance may not always mean 50-50. It could mean, it could be different every day, depending on, you know, where each individual is at in that specific day. Because we're not the same every day, right? But this is where there's that sacred safety and that sacred union that comes into place that needs to be a foundation within our relationships. Because if that is not there, then yeah, it is going to turn into chaos. It is going to turn to hurtful exchanges. And in those hurtful exchanges, sometimes we say things that we don't actually mean or we wish that we could take back. And some words, we know that some words will just stick with us. And I mean, we can clear that out of our belief system. However, when it comes to these relationships, why even put ourselves in those positions? Okay? Like what if we could just have healthy conversations and hold space without judgment? I think everybody in this world, not I think I know, everybody in this world just wants to be loved. They just want to be chosen, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be loved and wanting to be chosen. But also remembering that you get to lead in love and you also get to choose in love. And that's also a part of being in your divine masculine and being in your divine feminine. Is knowing that you get to choose too. Surrendering doesn't mean that like you give up all your boundaries or that you are a yes man or a yes woman. Like, no, not at all. It means you get to express yourself and express your needs and you get to be respected for it. You get to navigate through these issues. So I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna keep this one super short and sweet. And if you're a man listening to this episode, you're wanting to find your woman or just even your person who is in their divine feminine and who has a balance of their divine feminine and divine masculine, because everybody has both. Everybody has a balance of both. Should have a balance of both. So if you're just someone listening to this and you want to find your person, this is where you hire me, where we get to work through all these inner wounds from childhood that are causing blockages in your life. It's not allowing you to become undone, to become vulnerable. Like truly, 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 when you can become vulnerable and just let your guards down, like take the walls down around your heart. And I know it can feel challenging to trust people. I know that. But there, like, your person's out there who is just gonna love you unconditionally. And I'm telling you that from experience. Share a story quickly. I said I was done. I'm not yet. You know, I have a past partner who, if you were to know him, a lot of people used to tell me this, and they would say, you know, like he's not worth it, and without really knowing him too, by the way. And I get it, you know, maybe they're right to an extent. However, people put up fronts. People don't know what's happening in your relationship with someone. People don't know your partner the way that you do, right? And so they might show up differently in front of people than they do with you. And that's okay. Again, you know, there's obviously inner work that needs to be done when it comes to that. But there was an unconditional love that I had for this man. And it didn't come from scarcity. It did not come from it didn't come from an unhealthy place. It came from a place of, I see your soul. I see you for you. And I'm gonna love you anyway. I know other people think you're a piece of shit. But you're not. And I know that. Right? And so I truly believe, and I know some people can get mixed up in that, especially if there's like abuse that's happening. That's completely different. If there's abuse happening and that's happening, that's just a whole other conversation we have to have. But in this case, there was not abuse happening, right? And there's just this misconception that people have because people, like I said, people put up fronts. People put up fronts because that's their protection shield in this world. But if your partner feels safe enough to let down those guards and to really be themselves, that says so much about you as a person. It says so much about you and how you show up in relationships. So I am going to leave you with that. Thank you for tuning in. And if you feel called to work with me, okay, you can sign up for my one-on-one multidimensional healing assessments. I have that. I also have energy healings available as well too. Energy healings and energy clearings where we recalibrate the mind, the body. It's so beautiful. Seeing so many amazing results from this. People showing up differently in their marriages and just releasing things physically in their body that they were holding on to from their trauma. And then I also have my one-on-one containers where we work long-term together. And it's an intensive program, but this program is for the person that's like 100% all in and committed to themselves. Because let me tell you, it's gonna be fucking life-changing. You're gonna be unrecognizable after. So I can't wait to work with you. And if you have any questions, just send me a DM on Instagram at safehavensanctuary_. Okay, I love you so much. And remember, you've always been worthy, regardless of your past, regardless of your traumas. You are a soul here on this earth with a unique light. And that makes you innately worthy because you have come from God. You are an extension of God, of source, of the universe. Okay. I love you. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. It means so much to me that we got to spend time together today. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at safehavensanctuary_. And if this episode resonated with you, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would share it with someone who you think it might resonate with as well. Or better yet, you could take a screenshot of this episode and share it to your story, tag me in it, just so we can bring more awareness to the podcast, and this will help the podcast to grow as well too. I appreciate all your support. I appreciate you listening, and I love you. Thank you for being here with me. Your presence, your time, your heart, your soul is so deeply valued here. I'll see you on the next episode.